So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want.
Well, if the answer to that question for anybody watching is more Kiriko Cup action, boy, are you in luck. Because we've got plenty of that. At least 2 more games, including this one, should see us out for the day. And if you hadn't caught on by now, it is the Spice Girls. Yes, the real Spice Girls. No, obviously not. Taking on Team Tree here in round 3 of the Kiriko Cup. My name is Sun Phoenix, and I'm joined by, well, who am I? Scary Spice? I'm joined by
I think you're
Ginger
Sexy Spice.
Are you red hair?
Posh Spice.
Are you Posh Spice? Ah, yeah.
You're Posh Spice. No, you're Posh
Am
Spice.
I Posh Spice?
You're Posh Spice. I mean, look at that shirt of you on the stream. You're dressed all fancy. You're looking nice. How are you not Posh Spice?
Fair enough. I'm Posh Spice, and you are Scary Spice. Clearly.
Listen, evil Kermit is misunderstood. I'm misunderstood Spice.
Misunderstood Spice. Well, okay, we can spice things up here. Right, so it is the Spice Girls taking on Team Tree. We'll quickly run through the Spice Girls roster. So let's do that. Assassin JDB, of course, a player we are very familiar with. We spoke a lot about Farah, and when I think Farah, he's one of the players that comes to mind, or not too shabby on the Tracer as well. Hasn't been that popular today. Then we've got Draakslachter, or Draagslachter, depending on where you look. A new player, I'm not familiar with them. Are you familiar with them?
No, I think they're a new player to Overwatch entirely.
Oh, awesome. And then we've got Saltcatcher. The name sounds familiar, but I'm not familiar.
A very, very strong tank player. We'll look forward to see his plays.
Awesome, that should be exciting. Then we have Artem Used and Cat Is, new player.
Also, I think another new player. Yeah.
Awesome. And then we've got KK, who we know, part of the old Legion squad. Question mark?
Was part of Hellhounds and part of, I forget the team name, but yes, has been around the community for a while.
Yes, has been, and has actually casted a couple of times as well.
Yeah.
So, player we should all be familiar with. Then on the other team, who are
Team Tree.
Hardy.
Yeah. Late. Tut tut.
Tut tut.
We've got a new player in the form of Fishy Mang playing tank for the team, I think. Or I might be wrong about that. Then we have 2 names everyone knows in Stalker and Mito. Mito, a very accomplished DPS player. Stalker, a very accomplished tank player. I'm unsure on what roles exactly they're going to be playing.
Looks like they're on DPS.
I think so. And then we have Mina Miner, who's been around for a while, everyone knows and loves. And a new player in Samurai PTA. Who I think
Samurai, depending on where you look again.
Yeah.
New player, I think. I don't know who Samurai PTA is.
Neither do I. So Mina Miner and Samurai on support. I'm unsure on who exactly is playing tank, if I'm honest. I think
it's Fishy Man, yeah.
You think so? Okay. I guess we'll see when they eventually get into the game.
Miner used to play for. He's played for a couple of teams.
He used to play for OG
ages ago.
Yeah.
He used to play for. He spent a brief stint on Nova X.
He played for OG?
No, I don't think he played for OG.
But has been in the scene for a while. Is an accomplished football player in their own right.
Yeah, he plays a lot of Lucio. That's kind of his hero. A lot like Slade in that way. And finally, if you're joining us after watching the previous 2, first time we're not going to see the frontline fighters as well. So 2 new teams to explore here. In case you're wondering, watching at home, we're trying to cover each team twice over the course of the next 2 weekends, but for various reasons, including load shedding and just generally how it works out. Some teams will only get covered once, but we will try and cover every team at least once. So if your favorite player is not playing or hasn't been on stream yet, don't worry. Hopefully they'll show up at some point. We're just waiting for things to get started here. We can talk through some of the other results. Or actually, maybe, here we go. False alarm. Looks like we're going to be starting here on Legion Tower again, Fluffy. No, we don't have a map. False alarm again.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see these 2 going into each other. Like you were saying, Assassin is known for being a very good Pharah player. He's also an exceptionally good Tracer player. Two heroes that we've... Tracer being very strong in Overwatch 2. Pharah, we've seen in this competition already. People struggle to deal with a good Pharah. Going against a DPS player like Mito, we'll see if he can have that success on a Pharah. But he should be able to get a lot of value on Tracer with just how independent she is.
Yes, yeah. Although I guess we'll see, because for whatever reason today, Tracer really hasn't been favored at all.
Yeah, she hasn't. We've only seen her once, and that was a stall pick.
Yeah, exactly. And that's in spite of... You know, it seems like if people want to play Tracer, although they don't really feel the same role, but we've been seeing a lot of Sombra instead. So I wonder if Mito will... Oh, sorry, if Assassin will do the Tracer. That'll be exciting to see, actually.
Of course, Genji also very strong. We've seen a lot of Genji, and Assassin is also known for his Genji. Yeah. I think what we might be seeing is a Genji head-to-head between Mito and Assassin.
Yes, definitely possible. Although Mito likes to do some garbage, like Torbjorn and Genji and Junkrat.
Torbjorn is unfortunately disabled for this competition. He has a bug. So if unfortunately, if you're a fan of Torbjorn and Bastion, both of them are currently disabled because they have game-breaking bugs that are quite easy to replicate. So they're disabled for the for this Kiriko Cup, at least until they are fixed.
Okay, so if they get fixed tonight, then they'll be back.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. Well, that'll be a big blow to Mito's whole life, I think. But of course, the Junkrat, as you mentioned, one of his most standout picks as well, alongside the Pharah as well.
Yeah, so we might see a Pharah head.
We might, for the first time, surprisingly, despite how key it seems like Pharah has been in some of our series.
Yeah, but we're going to go ahead to Busan, where we've already seen a Pharah, and maybe not the best map for a Pharah head-to-head, but I mean, remains to be seen what the players select.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we are going to have Stalker on tank.
No, he's...
Is he not?
First slot
he's in the middle.
Is DPS.
I'm just...
Fishy Mang is... Yeah, Fishy Mang is...
Okay.
It's all very hard. It's all very complicated, this whole process. It's been a long day for you and I, and Pete especially. But it is Fishy Mang.
I am correct.
Okay.
He's on the Doomfist, who is a tank now.
Then he's in the wrong spot. Yeah, Pete. Sort these people out, bro. Worth remembering, if you're just joining us, in the Kiriko Cup, Kiriko is mandatory on each team. So each team will have at least one Kiriko, and who plays it is up to the teams. But that does mean only one support will be flexing. And we've been seeing a mix between Lucio and Mercy and Ana, really, and occasional Moira pick.
So far, we haven't seen... Oh, we did see a bit of BAP on Circuit
Tiny
Royale.
bit, right?
Tiny bit, yeah.
Oh, no, he was countering the blades with the lamp, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... Go for it.
It is a bit of inflexibility forcing the Kiriko, but it means that teams have to explore Kiriko, which is fun. They are forced into figuring out what comps Kiriko works with, and that is partly the point of this competition. It's to have fun, to build community engagement, everyone to have a good time, but then also limit test Kiriko.
Yeah,
push her to her extremes.
Exactly. Okay, Stalker is tank. To confirm now. And he is now in the right spot, so we will be jumping back in here in just a moment, guys. We do see Fishy Mang on the Junkrat, interestingly. So I wonder if I think they're quite a new player, so I wonder if their hero pool is very limited, and we might be seeing exclusively Junkrat.
Maybe he's an exceptional Junkrat. We don't know. But interestingly, we are going to see Doomfist for the first time today. That
is true. Yeah, we've had a very, very tight pool of tanks in terms of what people have been favoring, and it's mostly been Diva. There was a lot of Ryan in our first series. A little bit of Sigma Blur really showed that hero off, and a little bit of Winston as well, which is what we're going to see out of Saltcatcher here against Stalker's Doomfist. So that's an interesting matchup. They don't really interact directly, but we'll see here Stalker jumps in, or rather Saltcatcher jumps in, gets Fishy Mang straight away, but they've lost KK in the back line, so that's a little bit problematic here for our blue squad. Assassin, though, he's wreaking havoc in the opposing backline here. Oh, hack up onto Team Tree's DPS player. It'll be a little bit tough for them to clean things up, but Stalker, he's finding picks in the backline. Sombra does end up going down as Artemis looks to rejoin the fray, keep Assassin JDB as healthy as she can, but can be quite tough to play into Junkrat here. Oh, spots the trap. That's a good start. Looks to try and get into team fights here. Neither team capped the point just yet. It's been quite a back fight, and I spoke about that trap, and what happens? Assassin JDB dies to it. Mito cleaning up here expertly on the Genji, and that will be that. Team Tree will take the first win.
It's a bit of a sloppy fight both ways, a bit of back and forth, but eventually they cap it out as Assassin maybe embarrassingly dying to the Junkrat.
Yeah, tripping over himself there.
We said Fishy Mang, maybe he's the best Junkrat in the world. We don't know. I mean, so far, he's got one death and one Junkrat trap kill.
Exactly. Really, what more could you ask for from your Junkrat? Fishy Mang, though. Here we go. We're going to see through the eyes of the master himself. Mito, eat your heart out. Oh, go on. Fishy Mang now under pressure, having to back away here.
Oh.
As the blade comes through, that's not off the sleep. Does not hit a lot of low HP heroes. A good Suzu gonna help Kiriko stay alive just a little bit longer, but Mito not really finding the targets here. In spite of a couple of low HP heroes, look on the other side. Saltcatcher, Assassin JDB doing a ton of work here. Doomfist under a lot of pressure here. Gets absolutely slammed by the train to Busan, and from Busan, I would suspect. I'm shocked that Saltcatcher didn't get the credit for that since he set it up.
Yeah, a bit odd. The train to Busan, good movie by the way. Yeah, it was a bit of back foot again. Fishy Man getting another trap kill onto KK this time. But we're gonna really see now.
Good.
We're going to see the ult economy now starting to form as we have a Nano Blade on the side of Spicicles. On the other side, we've got the Riptire for Team Tree. Both massive ults.
Needs to be careful, does get out, but Assassin, he goes in the other direction. He finds two. He's going to get the third here in the form of Mito's Genji. He'll happily lap that up here. Hungry Genji. He'll pick up a fourth as well. Hello,
okay.
Leave it. Let him have it. No, he does not get it. The team not on his side there. But, I mean, they'll take the win no matter how they get it.
Yeah, they will. And that was a good fight. They only used the Nano Blade. They're going to come up to their own EMP. They've got their Kitsune Rush. On the other hand, the worry for the Spicicles is Fishy Mang's Tire. If he can get value from this Tire, even if it's just a solo kill, that could spell disaster for the Spicicles.
Absolutely could. No real mitigation against that tile. We'll have to kill it if they want to stop it getting value, and that's a bad start though. Mito struggling to get value out of the Genji a little bit here. Saltcatcher jumps in, gets one. Assassin and Saltcatcher working together so well so far on this map. Last man standing here is Stalker as KK just heals the team back up here in the back line. And
that was an exceptional fight. They didn't use a single ult and they won the fight.
Oh,
that was as perfect a fight as you could have. And now they're coming up to their own Nano Blade, and they have still those ults that they were holding on for the last fight.
If they win this fight, it's over, even if there is another fight afterwards, because then they'll have the Nano Blade ready to go. But here we go. Nice EMP over the top, a lot of damage. Stalker bails out there with his RTKK, almost caught unawares here, but here comes the big bomb. It finds one. Two, but the shield was good from Saltcatcher. Now onto point, hack up onto Doomfist. Stalker will get the kill onto KK, but it might not be enough with the rest of his team crumbling around him a little bit. Stalker, yeah, off the map. Fair enough. That time the train not really needed to assist.
Yeah, that one fight proved to be crucial. The Spicicles didn't use any ults and won the fight, and it forced Team Tree into a difficult situation where the ults they did use. Yes, they used them to get value, but it was too little, too late. The Spice Girls debut album is looking good.
And I'll keep you safe.
Oh, I can't. Your pun game's too strong, Fluffy. I can't keep up. There's a couple of Team Tree puns in there somewhere, I'm sure, if you thought hard enough.
We'll get there eventually, I'm sure.
You have to burn through the entire discussion.
Well done.
Force. Oh my god. Are you rubbing off on me? Obviously the Sojourn here, interestingly enough, from Assassin. No, false alarm into Genji, shock and horror.
The Moira
sticking to the Doomfist as well, and yes, the Moira. They're gonna have a lot of healing coming out here, so we'll have to see if Mito and friends can use that extra sustain to their advantage. Saltcatcher on the Reinhardt. I like that pick on this map as Stalker though, he's gonna start things off. That charge looked like it should have pinned somebody, but it did not. Assassin though, getting aggressive there. Trying to put the pressure on, but dropping like flies here are the Spice Girls, and there's a morbid joke in there somewhere as well, but I'm not the one to make it. Is trying to turn this one around, and they are going to do just that. Saltcatcher and Assassin have been an absolute monster duo in the series so far.
Yeah, that was. It looked like the Team Tree had taken that. It looked like Soul Catcher maybe was a bit isolated and his team was falling around him. But then Assassin and Assassin really brought it back there. And now we're looking at, now this is where the Reinhardt can truly work because he controls this choke so effectively. One swing just can cover the entire choke. It can be really difficult to get in, and he has Shatter, and there it
drops,
is.
but that's a big Shatter. Looks to sweep the floor here, but a good COWZA going to keep everyone alive, and Saltcatcher ends up dropping. He didn't quite have the cover there from his team to be able to put out the damage after the Shatter, and that's really unfortunate for Saltcatcher. And now Team Tree pushing forward. Mito picks off 2 with the help of Stalker and Sojourn. So great work from Team Tree to equalize after a difficult start.
It's a difficult start, but now again, it's always easier when you have control of these chokes. It forces the opposition to make a play that exposes them, like the Reinhardt charge out of choke.
That felt like a very, very risky play to say the least, but it made a little bit of space for Assassin to get in there with the ultimate. Now the Dragon Blade doing so much damage, putting so much pressure. Stalker buying so much time, dropping low, but Genji coming in now. Mito with a blade of his own, gonna try and clean things up. Fisherman off on the side on the Sojourn, find a couple of picks, and it seems like a sloppy start again for Team Tree, but they had enough in the bag to bring it back.
Yeah, these fights seem so messy. They swing one way and then back the other. And we saw 2 really good blades, but the second blade got more value and Mito clutched it out for his team. We're going to see a swap now. Soulcatcher gets off the Reinhardt, goes on to D.Va. We might see more aggression from him now.
Yeah, Kitsune Rush now going on through the... I don't know what I was going to say there, don't worry about it. Mito getting a couple of kills now, and they're pushing through once again. The aggressive play from Mito and Stalker really well working in Team Tree's advantage here as they push up to 60% on the clock. It's getting to that point where you have to start winning fights as the Spice Girls. And they're kind of in an awkward spot ultimate-wise. Final pickoff will come through, and yeah, complete control for Team Tree. And
Yeah,
even more picks, oh my god.
These are not good for the Spice Girls. They need to get into spawn and... there's a sleep outside. They need to get into spawn and reset and then come again because this is last fight. They do get their remake, which is good. And Team Tree are using resources. They use their Suzu, but it's on them now, and that's a good pick.
Oh, but the Nano coming through. Kitsune Rush going through as well. I think it's a Nano one. Sorry, a blade on blade action here. And at the end of it all, on 8 HP, it's Assassin, but no. Gets popped by Stalker on the Doomfist. Heads up play from Saltcatcher going straight to point here to pop the overtime and almost cap the point, but 99% and all by himself on the clock. It's going to be a tough push for the Spice Girls, but the Swift Step does come through from Kiriko, and now the Sozu as well. But is she going to get pushed off the map? Stalker is an absolute menace on the hero here, the Doomfist, and making space for his team, but Drachslakter, he is coming in here with his ultimate, and that's pretty good for the team, but unfortunately Minor on the Kiriko picking up a double. Can he get any more? Doesn't need to. Stalker with the slam gets a double, and that's going to be that. Equalized here for Team Tree.
That was really well played. Stalker having great value on the Doomfist. Bringing it back there. Good stall, good awareness to touch. Trigger overtime from Saltcatcher. But it was too little too late. He didn't really have the support. People coming back, trickling back, and then eventually just Team Tree cleaning up and winning the round. No changes. I think the Spice Girls seem to be struggling with the aggression of the Lucio and the Doomfist with the Genji together. Just everyone pressing W together.
Yeah, it feels like if the Spice Girls can get a nice setup going, they might be the better team here. We saw in Busan, once they got in control of the point, they never really let it go. But, sorry, not on city center, downtown? Downtown. But on Mecha Base, they gave that point away pretty softly, and from there, they just got pulled into the chaotic playstyle of Team Tree. So I have to say, see what they can do. Fisherman here showing himself to be relatively flexible. Now onto the Reaper after playing the Sojourn in on Mecha Base. So be interested to see how he develops, and we finally get our first look at Orisa. Fluffy after not seeing it all today.
This is the first Orisa we've seen, so we're seeing 2 new tank heroes in inverted commas in Doomfist and Orisa, who got majorly reworked. Orisa is odd. She works, but she's a bit niche. I think the Orisa is an attempt to stop Stalker.
Yeah, I mean, how good is Orisa against Doomfist? She doesn't feel like a hard counter or anything, but obviously Doomfist can't really mess with her too much.
No, because the Fortify gives you real sustainability and just, FU energy. But he swapped over to the monkey now, so maybe that aggression that we see from Spice Girls in the first map is going to come back.
Well, here we go, jumping on in, dropping low. That was a pretty aggressive jump, especially into a Reaper team, but seems to work out here as Draxlachter finds the pick onto Samurai PTA. Now gonna have to beat a hasty retreat to find some HP, but they're still standing up in the front bar. Aggressive play comes through. KK kind of left in the lurch there, out in the open as Fishyman picks her off as Draxlachter just putting the damage down as they build towards ultimates, but struggling to find a hack target there, unfortunately. Mito wins the duel of the Genjis, and it's looking like a difficult push once again for the Spice Girls. After the first map, Team Tree have really found a rhythm.
Yeah, the first map was quite one-sided, and now the second two seem to be going in the other direction. It's interesting. Spice Girls really need to get those ults online and use them to try shift momentum. We've yet to see really any ults this map. Here they go.
But here you go, Fluffy. Asking you shall receive here. The Dragon Blade comes on through. He's hacked up, 0 HP, but it might be too little too late. They've lost both of their supports, I believe, so that's pretty tough. Good hacks here. Is he not shooting on? Okay, now he is. Just gonna have to back up your Stalker, though. Yeah, for me, standout performer on this Doomfist so far. An unusual hero, at least in the context of the Kiriko Cup, and he's been putting it to good use.
Yeah, Doomfist is not as strong as he used to be in beta, with getting a slight nerf, but he can work, and he forces attention.
Oh, here comes the Dragon Blade now. Good anti-heal over the top from K, but no kills forthcoming just yet. Bad targets really, and a good beat from Samurai as well. Kind of neutralize that Dragon Blade assassin. Going back to base, he's going to switch with Soul Catcher, making it happen here, but can he get to the point in time or not die? No, he dies, and that's going to be it. Almost spawn camped there were the Spice Girls, and Team Tree, after a slow start, made that look easy.
Yeah, it was a slow start, but they really brought it back together. I feel like the aggression of the Lucio, Genji, and Doomfist together, Spice Girls are struggling with it. It's their backline is under so much pressure that even if with the good space that's being made, they can't do anything. But this is the thing. In that play of the game, we see the aggression from Spice Girls, the decisiveness of pressing W all together, going in, and we didn't really see that in the other two rounds. They were very much more on the back foot. You know, one option to deal with aggression is to bring in your own aggression, but we're not really seeing that.
Yeah, it is kind of like, it feels like it's really tough to match the aggression of that Doomfist Genji lineup though, and with Stalker knowing the limits of that hero so much, he's not really overextending in a way they can get picked, and it doesn't feel like they can really effectively match that aggression on the Winston. Obviously the Winston is an aggressive hero, but you can't really just jump into the center of the enemy team like we saw Salt Catcher doing on a couple of occasions.
And there are very few diveable targets on the side of the Team Tree. A Kiriko and a Lucio backline, Monkey, Tesla's one of them, and then they either teleport away or speed away. There's no squishy target, unlike the Ana that we saw from the side of Spice Girls, who is a definite obvious target for the new Genji and Lucio to run at.
Exactly.
And when your Ana is under so much pressure, it forces you to play in a certain way. Either protect your Ana or sacrifice your Ana. And it feels like Spice Girls are indecisive on how they want to play that. And
what also seemed to be happening is that the Red Sea would just part and Ana would be exposed, you know. When everyone's going forward, you question whether Ana then is the right pick. Obviously, you have to have the Kiriko. But maybe go for the Lucio or maybe the Moira.
I don't think the Ana's a bad pick, especially actually into Doomfist, because Doomfist's, I don't know what his ability is called, the one where he negates damage, where he brings his arm in front of himself. He's still susceptible to CC during that, and Sleep Dark he's a slow, big target, and Sleep Dark can punish him for that. And at that point, he doesn't have his movement abilities, and so if KK is landing those Sleep Darts, it can be a really devastating hero to play. But maybe with the pressure and the aggression of that dive, a 3v1 is always going to be difficult.
Yeah, definitely. It can be rough if you're not a super solid Ana player.
Even for a super solid Ana player.
Yeah, true. Especially when the other hero in the mix is Genji, and kind of that mini game between betting the deflect.
You have a decision. You can just sleep the Doomfist or the Genji. You can't sleep both.
Yeah. So that's interesting, because I'm wondering if maybe you go for the Moira then, and then just back up the rest of the squad. Obviously, you have less direct effectiveness, both healing and damage wise, but it does allow you, like we mentioned in a previous game, to just not have to worry about your own life as much,
It's an option. We'll see if they go for it in the next.
Well, indeed. It looks like the next map is going to be Esperança.
A new map we haven't seen so far.
Is that how you say it?
I do not speak Portuguese.
Oh, damn it, Fluffy. Why do we have you here if you don't speak Portuguese?
Should we do the cast in German?
Can you speak German?
I can.
Oh, okay, go off.
How
about we do the cast in English, the only language
that's a good idea. I think we should do that. So anyway, we're going to
do the cast in JavaScript?
No. We're going to Esperanza, a push map we haven't seen so far, the newest of the push maps as well. A really up and down, topsy-turvy kind of map.
Esperanza, apparently. Esperanza. I don't know why I'm taking your word for it, because you don't speak Portuguese. Okay, that's what the lady said. The announcer said, okay. Esperanza. I'll be saying...
having a conversation in his ear.
Esperanza?
The American has arrived.
You just get it wrong on purpose and no one can really judge you.
Oh.
Right.
I am dying on the inside.
This is a push map though, as you mentioned. So like New Queen Street, which is the only other push map we've seen so far today, there are a lot of pawns. It is easy to get caught out, and the usual rules of push map apply. If you get behind early, it's really, really, really challenging to get back in the game.
Yeah, I think for the Spice Girls, I think at this point in time, something they need to remember is their own words. Is, if you want my future, forget my past. They need to move on from the last map and focus on this map. And we're already seeing a major adjustment with KK moving on to the Lucio, so we're going to have a Lucio Kiriko, a far more aggressive backline.
Yes, yeah, I like that. I like
a
that.
Junker Queen for the first time.
Oh, yes. Saltcatcher really bring out all the weird heroes here, like Orisa we saw in the last game, and the Junker Queen. So between these two teams, we're seeing a ton of new tank heroes. And Junker Queen, as you mentioned, plays a little bit more like a DPS than a tank in some ways. Has no real options for mitigation, especially as a shift, but I don't know, it doesn't really feel like it's doing much mitigation. But she does have Gracie, the little knife that she throws, and she can get aggressive with her E like that. So a lot of potential for damage here between her abilities, and a shotgun, and there we go. Saltcatcher gets the first pick onto Samurai, contributes to a second there with the help of Draxlactor and the Sojourn. So a great start for the Spice Girls, and they're going to get that momentum building nice and early. They won't pick Stalker though, who just seems so slippery.
Oh, they do.
As I say that, it does go down, and he goes down very late. Oh,
yeah,
Genji in here, Mito as well, so that's going to be another late pick.
That's two late picks. The Spice Girls should get some big push on this. Again, as you've seen before, the first fight in push is so important. So hopefully the Spice Girls can really capitalize on this win.
Yeah, you can see that grey bar showing how their lead is growing on the right-hand side. And it's going to be tough for them to push back, but Team Tree has seemed the stronger of the two teams so far. And they're kind of playing into a chaotic playstyle, which seems like it would thrive on these push maps, so we'll have to see what they can do. But Mito has now moved onto the Pharah, so making an appearance here is the other Amari as well as Stalker. He opens up the bank here for the attacking team, and Team Tree losing two players in the meantime though, so not quite an even fight so far. Sojourn trying to get rid of this pesky Pharah, close to getting it, but not quite. Stalker finding picks in the meantime, and now putting pressure on the Sojourn. That hero looks insane when it's played well. How do you kill that thing?
So the issue with Doomfist, he is very difficult to kill. He is challenging. He has high mobility and can take a lot of damage. Anytime he gets low, he runs away. The Pharah is an interesting response to the sort of quasi Junker Queen goats that we're seeing out of Spice Girls, because Mito is very alone in the air, and maybe Assassin can then deal with that quite easily. But that's really on if he doesn't have the space to do that, he's going to struggle.
Oh, Mito though finds that opening pick onto K, losing the Lucio, but a problem. Now he's gonna get a big kill with his ultimate. Finds one, finds two, doesn't even die. A perfect Sozu from across the map, I think it was. They kept him alive, and there you go, popping some squats, showing what was that? The season 15 or whatever it was.
Who knows? Yeah, the Pharah is an issue for the Spice Girls, and an issue, something they haven't really responded to. And now we're actually seeing Team Tree taking the lead, and they're about to get the checkpoint cap, which is massive. So Spice Girls really want to be winning this fight, but they do have options to do that. They have the Kiriko ult, they have the Junker Queen ult, they have the Railgun, and there's the first pick.
Yeah, they got the opening pick.
Oh, but
okay, yeah, I was about to say Assassin and jumping off the map make them a more iconic duo. Unfortunately, that pick that Junker Queen got completely neutralized. In fact, 100% neutralized with the death of Junker Queen. You can see they committed the Kitsune rush here, but not really winning the team fight off the back of a team tree. Just too much pressure being applied here onto the Spice Girls, and the cart will continue to march, the robot will continue to march forward.
yeah, Team Tree are on a roll here. The momentum is really with them. We want to see more decisive ult usage from Spice Girls. The falling off the map is obviously, I will say, unlucky.
That's a word for it, sure.
It's a new map, so we don't know the routes, but maybe some big ults here. This could be big.
Oh yeah, here comes the Junker Queen ultimate. It's a lot of damage and anti-heal here, but yeah, the cleanse from the Suzu, too good. Assassin though, he finds that opening pick from the Cassidy, so good start to the team fight for them, but a lot of ults committed. But there's another one, Stalker going down, so this might be exactly what they need to start building some of their own momentum here. But as we've said, one team fight is just the beginning. You need 2 or 3 to really start to turn around an enemy's advantage.
And there we see the ICBM once again. Oh, Fishman. This could be bad if he dies. This late kill could be very bad. If they find him and kill him, this is almost, I'd say, a worst case scenario.
Someone spotted him. Yeah, Assassin found him. No, Stalker.
Oh,
that's
Stalker,
even
that's
worse.
even worse.
That's not even the kill that you're expecting them to get. So might get more. And there we
Fishman.
go. Fisherman does end up going down. So yeah, that's pretty bad for them. If you don't force a second fight, then they do only need to win one fight.
And they're very aware of where Mito is. They are watching for him. They know he has Barrage. They are watching for it to come. Assassin is watching him. Ready, there, and there he comes.
Oh, it does get him. He gets 2 anyways, though, including the Kiriko. So that's quite a good ultimate from Mito, in spite of the fact that he goes down during it. Can Saltcatcher bring his team back into this one? It's going to be a tough ask. He's pretty lonely here on the point, but this is a hero with a lot of DPS potential, a lot of playmaking potential in a situation like this, but he might just be too lonely, and yeah, he does end up going down here. Team Tree, in spite of throwing a few heroes away there towards the end of the previous fight, they do end up re-securing the payload.
It's not the worst though for Spice Girls, because importantly they did get the checkpoint. So the next time if they win a fight and they push card all the way there, they won't have to have the robot sit and wait at the checkpoint. So it wasn't the worst, and they still have plenty of time on the clock with 4 minutes remaining.
Assassin! He finds the kill, pops a big ulti now, fires maybe a little bit on the early side, but a lot of damage coming through from the Cassidy off the top rope, and looks like they're going to try and clean things up, but it's a lot of damage. Oh, a huge Junker Queen ultimate there. Look at the anti-heal applied. 2 shots. Great work from Saltcatcher, and that was a lot of great individual play from the Spice Girls.
Yeah, a massive rampage there from Saltcatcher.
Did you get all 5?
I don't think so, but importantly, he killed them. He
rampage is the name of the ability, Fluffy. Oh my god.
So now, as I said earlier, they already have the checkpoint, so now it's just push that they're getting. This was a big ult for them, and they have Death Blossom sneaking up behind them.
Yeah, here he comes, Draxlater from behind. He could pop it here, he does. That's a lot of damage, but the Suzu, I think, kept the Kiriko alive, and that could end up being critical. He does get 1, but he drops quite quickly after that. Mito, though, taken down by Cassidy from the high ground, but no friends means Assassin's going to have to back out of here. He can't man-fight Stalker on the Doomfist. It's not even a man-fight. That's unfair, but he does trade out Miner's life, but it's not really going to help because they'll both kind of rejoin the fight at the same time.
The ICBM strikes again. I hate that ability. It is frustrating to play with and against at times. We're seeing quite a back and forth right now. Both teams have pushed beyond the checkpoint, and there is no real momentum, I'd say. They're both they're playing around these barrages, really.
Oh my god, Mito, every time he uses ulti he dies, but he trades out at least 2, so value every time. Assassin though, as I say that, he does get popped by Stalker, so quite a big team fight advantage here for Team Tree as they look to clean things up, forcing the Spice Girls back towards their base here. Oh, gonna drop, yeah. So a lot of damage coming through, and a lot of respawns have come through, and Saltcatcher will now pick up Samurai PTA and start to push forward, but The cart is moving this whole... No, wait. The
No,
cart's
it's not.
in the middle
No
of
one's
nowhere.
pushing cart. This is Team Tree had an advantage and they didn't use it. That's a good pick onto KK, but they haven't done anything with the robots. They're not gaining any push.
Cart is moving forward now, but
Now it
turned
is.
around once again. The Spice Girls managing to turn around. Mito in the backline. Assassin hitting a lot of good shots here. Nice work. Assassin sharp on the Cassidy here. He's been a playmaker for this team so far. Him and Saltcatcher have really been keeping the Spice Girls in this.
Yeah, and this could be a big fight coming up. There's a lot of ults for the Spice Girls and not that many for Team Tree. They only really have the railguns coming up. Whereas Spice Girls have a High Noon, which isn't that impactful, the Rampage, which can be very impactful if timed properly to avoid the Suzu, and then the Kitsune Rush, which can also be good if used correctly.
Robot flipped again here. High Noon, that should be Mito down. Yeah, he does get him. A nice use of that ability. Pretty much the best you can expect out of it, you can hope for. As he now pushes forward Saltcatcher, they find another one. Draxlachta on the Reaper, putting in work in this team fight. They'll get it to the point and start moving forward. If they win this team fight, I'd say they're completely back in it. And it looks like that's what they're about to do. Stalker taken down, Miner taken down, and now the robot moving once again.
Yeah, we're looking into going into maybe last or second last fight here, and the only worry for Spice Girls, they took that fight very well, and they still have their ults. The barrage is a worry though. We've seen Mito get a lot of value out of his barrages. If he gets value out of this barrage, gets even just 1 or 2 picks, that could spell disaster for the Spice Girls.
Stalker taking a lot of damage here. Dropping low is Assassin, but backing up nicely. Stalker getting into the backline. A good beat, as you say, to keep them all pretty healthy here. Draxlachta in the backline, building his way up towards the Death Blossom, but the Rocket Barrage at the ready here. That could be the can opener that opens this team up. He kind of gets in the backline, but he's losing teammates as he goes over the top. Oh, here he comes. That's a big one. It's 2-3 pretty much, and Mito to the rescue here. He might have just secured his team the map 2 victory. Team Tree cleaning up Mito with 4. Let him get the 5 here. Kiriko gives his life away, and what a way to end it for Mito and Team Tree.
That was really well played. That was really well played by both teams. A real back and forth that we saw, and it was so close at the end. I just think, there was a lot of pressure. It was a really good beat to respond to the pressure from Team Tree, but then they lost track of the Farah. They just weren't quite sure where she was, and she came in from somewhere unexpected and got the value.
And you can see how easy it is to do that, right? When you're playing into a Doomfist squad like this, he pulls all of your attention. And so it's very easy as Assassin, who kind of feels like he needs to be dealing with the Doomfist and the Pharaoh, to lose track of where one or the other is, and then get picked by the other. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. I will say I quite liked Saltcatcher on the Junker Queen. He kind of showed the value that hero could bring, and that was cool to see.
Sheer damage and survivability. She is very difficult to kill. She has a very slender frame, and it is difficult to hit her for a lot of people. And even when you do pressure her, she uses her shift and she runs away, and it's difficult to punish her. And on the other end of that is she's doing so much damage. She is essentially just a really fat DPS, and it can be very difficult to deal with. The one issue is you maybe think, should they have had a D.Va? Because on the one hand, the D.Va isn't as tanky, but the D.Va can help with the Farah, and the Farah seems to be an issue that the Spice Girls haven't solved yet.
As you can see, Mito, the Farah, he's playing without the Mercy as well. And that's, in my opinion, if you can do that, that's even stronger than the Pharmacy, because it allows your other support to not have to play Mercy. And that's always a positive, in my opinion, because I think Mercy has a lot of very exploitable weaknesses, and other heroes can do more with less a lot of the time. So,
it is. The one issue is that your Farah can't play as aggressive without the Mercy.
Yes, yeah.
And it takes what you think of Assassin's job in the last map, where he was taking that 1v1 of Cassidy versus Farah, and it was, you think maybe the barrages were good, but overall I think Assassin was getting the better of Mito more often than not. He was catching him out and headshotting him, but the barrages were the issue. If you had a Mercy, Assassin has to deal with 2 heroes. He has to deal with the Farah and the Mercy, and it's a lot harder. 3
if you think about the Stalker Doomfist as well.
Exactly. So it puts so much pressure onto the hit scans, because it's not, dealing with the Pharmacy is difficult. Dealing with the Farah on her own is
a little bit more manageable. Okay, that's a fair point. We are looking like we're going to go to New York here and the Midtown map for Escort. Shocked again not to see King's Row, but it seems like teams want to try the newer maps here.
Hopefully we'll see some more of the map.
Yeah. Don't hold your breath though with the way Team Tree's been playing. It seems like they've been super solid. Although if they're on attack first, which it looks like there is, we might you might blink and you miss it, but we might see the whole map of Midtown. But I have to say I'm very impressed with Saltcatcher's performance today. I think he's been the standout player, really enabling Assassin to pop off in the way he is, and also just contributing in his own right.
Yeah, he's been playing very well. I did like the adjustment in the last map. In the first map, we spoke about how the aggression of Team Tree was putting the backline of Spice Girls under so much pressure, and then we saw a good adjustment by them. We think about Esperanza, how close that map was. It was really close. It was, you know, if Spice Girls had been watching Mito better, they probably would have won that.
Yeah. True.
And then it would be 1-1. But as it is, it's 2-0. But the adjustment of going into the Kiriko Lucio, I think, was a great decision by the Spice Girls. And if anything, from what we've seen in the history, Kiriko Lucio seems to be one of the stronger support compositions involving a Kiriko.
Yeah, it does seem that way, and I quite like the way it allows you to play, because that, you know, we talk about how we don't really know. Well, we talk about how main support and flex support is not really that important to consider anymore, but when you play Kiriko that way, she's kind of playing the main support role, and you can kind of get super aggressive and do
the main healer role. But he is doing most of the healing, and the Lucio is almost a third DPS, and healing other people, but also just enabling the team and then doing damage as well. I think moving forward, really good Lucios are going to be the Lucios that can do a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense.
Support is not healer. I think it's a common misconception, but supports are not just healers. Supports are DPS with extra steps.
Yeah, with more to do. Assassin JDB is going to be now on the Pharah, something we expected to see, but I believe this is the first time we're seeing it now.
Yeah, interestingly, he's going to have the Mercy. So if we see that head-to-head of Mito going to Pharah, Assassin will have the advantage there.
Yeah. It'll have to be Samurai PTA who goes on to that Mercy if they need it, and he really hasn't played anything other than the Lucio so far, so you always have to ask yourself. Yeah, true. Stalker, though, he's decided he's only playing Doomfist today, and honestly, you can't really argue with the results he's been getting.
No, he's been playing very well. Spice Girls haven't really had an answer to Doomfist. Oh no, this could be bad if they catch out the pharmacy.
Ooh, she needs to be careful here. Does R2 use, but does get out of the Didn't talk about Saltcatcher here on the Sigma, but so here we saw a little bit from Blur, and you're good at it, you can get a ton of value here, but maybe against a Doomfist it feels like a bit of a risky proposition. As rocks his face there on the top left, as Assassin JDB struggling to really find opportunities for damage. He will put the damage in, but he's dropping low here. Artemis having to work really hard to keep Assassin healthy in the fight here, and in fact, not healing him up. Just barely goes down, but he has built up the barrage, so that is a testament to how much damage he's doing. But Mito, he's actually getting the picks here, kill after kill. Fishiang now getting aggressive alongside Stalker and Mito, and that's going to be that. Team Tree rather have done a really job of leveraging that aggressive playstyle.
Yeah, we saw a lot of damage from Assassin, but we also saw him use his shift and hit a lamppost.
God.
So,
brain damage.
Small misplay there, which meant he used his shift and was on the ground. So hopefully we can... I back Assassin Farah. As I say that, he gets a kill. I back Assassin Farah to turn it around.
Oh, well, now's the chance. He gets one kill with the barrage, and that's good enough. He does end up getting dropped. The rest will come through. Mito says, yes, this is the fight. I'm going to pop my ulti in. Seems like a risk. He does end up trading out his life for the Mercy, so that's something, and Stalker will be back in the fight in just a moment, and that of course means Assassin can't play the same way he wants to, and K has to work twice as hard to keep the team healthy. But are they going to take this fight quickly enough, especially with the Gravitic Flux at the ready from Saltcatcher? No opportunities seen just yet. Who's this over the top?
Team Tree do have the beat to respond for that. They are in a position to be able to absorb this pressure.
That is true. Mercy is back now, so we are up to a full 5v5 once again. And the Kitsune Rush is going to start it off here for the Spice Girls. Can they find any damage? Here comes the Credit Flux on the Kitsune Rush. Did he get anything there? No kills are forthcoming. A lot of damage, I think. Who is that? Stalker is the one they're focusing on the corner there. We're not finding that kill, and at the end of all that, it will be Draxlach that drops first. Assassin JDB though trades out with Mito, has switched onto the Farah, but Fishman fires back. A 2-for-1 so far, but Saltcatcher and the Resurrection will help even it out, and that's going to be it. The Sprinkler from the sky, another ultimate from Assassin JDB. He's doing so much damage in these team fights.
We're not going to see a very interesting head-to-head between Mito and Assassin on the Forest, because on paper, Assassin should have this. He has a Mercy to help him, a 2v1, and he has massive positional advantage. This point is so strong for Farah in this exact situation where you have to come to this choke and you have this kind of position to abuse people from.
Has to be careful though. Mercy getting pressured here by Mito. Ooh, lots of pressure coming through. Stalker finally switching off the hero that he was on, Stoomfist, onto the Diva to deal with this Farah. They have taken down Artemis, but Assassin has got rid of Mito, so he's got free reign in the sky. But you can see Stalker, he wants to pressure this Farah, he wants to make his life hell, especially while his Mercy is dead. And I think the spawn advantage, 7 HP! Surely not! Oh my god, he's getting healed up by K. Yeah, really nice. Keeping an eye on her Farah there, and now they're getting pushed back, but eventually does drop, but Mercy's coming back, so she might be able to raise him up. No, with K dropping, that should be team fight over. Death Blossom at the ready, shouldn't need to be used. Gravitic Flux committed here. They think they can still win this, and they might be right. That's the kill onto Minor minus Kiriko. Death Blossom at the ready here for Draxlach. The dude who's committed might not need to. Soulcatcher popping off once again. Oof. They force out the self-destruct. Can they find anything else? Do they even need to? It's just Stalker on point now, and that was an absolutely masterful display from Saltcatcher on the Sigma.
Yeah, he really clutched up big there, and it could get even better if they get this kill and they stagger. The Kiriko teleported in. Oh no, that's a misplay.
Oh no.
Oh, that's...
Oh no, they will get the Kiriko. Minor says, oh, you're still hungry, here's another one. Unfortunately, not able to keep the Diva alive, and as you say, even more, and Mito dropping as well. Assassin's not done, he gets another one, he goes down, but the res should be forthcoming, and that is a huge teamfight win. Oh, well, extended stagger for Team Tree.
That is going all the way back. Soulcatcher played that exceptionally well, maintaining point control and doing so much damage. And then we saw Assassin bringing in, and Team Tree really staggered themselves in that fight. They have a lot of ults now coming into this fight. They've been holding on to this beat for very long, and one wonders if that's maybe because Samurai isn't comfortable on Lucio, or if he isn't sure if he's saving it for something. Like the Flux.
The Death Blossom, yeah, the Flux is a lot that he could be using it for. Another big ulti from Mito, but it doesn't find anything. By big, I mean its size, not its contribution to the team fight. Assassin JDB is doing so much work. Draxlach, seems like Spice Girls have found something here, but this is a notoriously hard position to push through, so
yeah,
not really fault Team Tree too much.
The situation where this Farah has this high ground they can abuse in these chokes is very difficult to push, especially when you have your own Farah without a Mercy, as we've been saying. This fight isn't looking good for Team Tree, if we're honest. They still have that beat, which is massive. They can get a lot of value out, but they're pushing into 4 ults.
Oh,
and we're going to see a pause.
Somebody DC. Who DC'd?
If it's someone with an ult, this could be bad, or it's just lag.
Okay, thank goodness. They do now have 3 pretty high impact ult and a 4th almost on the way on the side of Spice Girls. Valkyrie could, close to being ready. Plus the 2 DPS ults. This could be rough with less than a minute left. They do, as we mentioned earlier, have that beat, but beat can only really counter one of those ultimates, not all 3. So as long as Spice Girls don't vomit them all at once, it should be okay.
More often than not in Overwatch, the team that ults first wins. Mm-hmm. If Assassin can ult first, even just get 1 pick, maybe 2, in all likelihood, Spice Girls are probably going to take this. It's the barrage is really the thing we're going to look at to see if to open, because Assassin has this massive positional advantage over Team Tree. Mm-hmm. For Team Tree, it's really then on Stalker. He has to be watching his Farah, making sure that he eats that barrage to let his team then kill the Farah. As we see now, Mito is swapped over to the Cassidy. So they've given up on the Farah. It's Mito taking that 2v1 or 2v2 because he does have Stalker to help him on the Diva.
Yeah. Yeah, he's decided he's not going to try and match it. He's just going to try and counter it, which is fair enough. We'll see if he can find the value. But as we've been saying, this is such a hard point to push through. Assassin needs to be careful there, getting quite aggressive. But they've pulled Stalker forward here. A lot of damage coming through. There's a Kitsune rush. Assassin finds one. Miner taken down, but they've lost two on the front line. Rez can only get one. There's the beat to counter the Gravitic Flux. So this is a pretty good fight for Team Tree so far. You can see Fishy Man on the Reaper now, putting the pressure onto Saltcatcher. Won't find that kill. Does back up, but ICBM, as you put it, does end up taking down Saltcatcher. So Team Tree have forced their way through this horrible choke point now.
Yeah, I feel like that was a bit of a misplay from Spice Girls. They took that fight a bit too linear. All of them looking down the same angle, which then meant Stalker just had to hold right click and matrix all of that barrage. So maybe a bit of a misplay. That being said, they still have Death Blossom, which can be massive. Death Blossom on Team Tree as well, but they only have to clear them off this point.
Yeah, no mitigation though on the side of the Spice Girls for the enemy Death Blossom, because you've got the defense matrix.
Here it comes.
Diva spots him out. Here it comes. It looks pretty ways. Assassin shuts him down with the railgun shot. That bomb looks big. Doesn't find anything. Almost gets the squish as well. Saltcatcher needs help, but they need to stay on point here. The boops are coming through, but they've managed to keep on the point. There's the Death Blossom. Dagslachter gets Stalker, and they just barely managed to hold on to second point.
That was really well played by Saltcatcher. He firstly cancelled the Death Blossom with his rock, and then he survived the Diva Bomb, hiding behind cart, so he kept stalling. So they didn't cap, Team Tree didn't cap second point. That was really well played. We then saw the Death Blossom clean up. Honestly, really good defense by Spice Girls. Obviously not a full hold, and they would have liked to hold them earlier on second, but still a really good hold. I don't think we're ever going to see third point today.
Well, we've got one more match after this.
Oh, we can see it now. We can have a quick look.
Yeah. Close your eyes. This doesn't count. This is fake.
It'll be interesting to see with now Team Tree on the defense. If Mito decides to take onto that Pharah, when he has the positional advantage, and we're not, we're going to see him on the Genji. We are going to see the Pharmacy from the Spice Girls on the attack.
I think you can totally understand why. I think Assassin was doing so much work. Even in that fight they lost on the first point, he clearly was outputting crazy amounts of damage to build his ulti as fast as he did. And it seems like we saw with Rexu and the Burnt Toasties earlier, some teams just operate better with the Pharah on their team.
Yeah, it's something that a lot of teams will struggle to deal with, especially in the era of Overwatch 2, where you only have the one tank. It puts a lot of pressure on that tank and on the entirety of the team to deal with that Pharah. And Assassin has been doing really good work when he isn't hitting his head on this lamppost that we're seeing now.
Yeah, exactly. Falling off the map or whatever it is that Assassin likes to do sometimes. And there we go. Junkrat taken down straight to beginning. Assassin now looking to pump damage down the card. He's going to go over the top now. If he can find one hit on that Kiriko. Yes, he does. Miner drops down. That's 2 picks straight off the bat here, courtesy of your Pharah in the sky. Mito finds the Reaper, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to need more than that as the Lucio on point. Nice. Assassin tracks him down, takes him down, and starts the cap here on the point. Need to be careful though. Dropping low. Pharah does go down. Mito gets that kill. So still everything to play here for Team Tree as the respawns come through. And one tick is taken here. So even if they lose, they will take something home. But this is a really, really nice recontest for the side of Team Tree.
Yeah, you'd think they'd cap that out, but a bit of sloppiness on the side of Assassin. He got maybe sloppy fuel management. He got too low, and Mito picked him off. That off the back of really, really good picks from Assassin. So at the moment, this game seems to be. We're actually going to see the Pharah swap. I was about to say Pharah is deciding this game, but we're going to see a swap.
Assassin might still end up deciding the game, but for all the wrong reasons, as we see Assassin now switching onto the Sojourn. We know he can get value out of this hero. It's going to be a question of whether they can get the same value he got. Oh yes, they catch the Junkrat. Fishy Man goes down. No mercy on the side of Team Tree, so not really anything. And here comes the Gravitic Flux looking for targets. Gets Stalker, lifts him up into the sky. A great Sozu, maybe a little bit early, but now getting down onto point. There we go. Miner tracked down by Saltcatcher. We'll get that kill. That's the second tick, so one more fight like this and they'll be good. Shield is down, so okay, no, it's not. Great work from Saltcatcher, Fisherman.
They're losing.
It's the kills though. They are losing. Unfortunately, Dagslachter here on the point. The Reaper could be very critical, but they might not be able to get back in. The KK finds a kill into Fishy-Mang, so maybe it's not all over. She's keeping Saltcatcher alive as well, so there's still everything to play for here. Oh, so Suzu just a little bit too late, and now she is last woman standing, and that's going to be that. But one more fight like that, and they've got it through.
Yeah, it's disappointing because the Spice Girls keep winning the fight and just, you know, sloppy target management. They're not getting those picks cleanly enough, so they're not capping the full points. They would have liked to cap on that first fight. We're gonna see an interesting fight coming up though, because we do have Mito's blade. He's got a lot of value, as well as the tire, and anything that Spice Girls throw at the Team Tree, they can respond with the beat.
Here comes the blade. Assassin first target. Looks like Mercy will be the second. Goes down as well. So that's it. Team fight over pretty much. He gets rocked, but he'll just back up and face the rest of his team. No, he's gonna try and secure this pick off. No, gonna back off. So yeah, looks like a pretty solid fight for Team Tree. It's going to be rough. Oh, Saltcatcher with a super late death as well, with a minute left on the clock here. It's Dire Straits, but they get a couple of return kills from Spawn. The res will come through onto Saltcatcher, so they can skedaddle on over to the point as Mito, dropping low, does end up backing out. Sojin here, going to try and get aggressive. His team needs to come through. A nice ultimate from Assassin, from Stalker. Buys time for his team to come through. The remake is there. He's forcing them away from point here in a big way. Assassin dropping low. Can he get out? No, he can't. They should be able to pick that off and get onto point here on the side of the Spice Girls. Somebody needs to kill him. They do finally get that, and now they can move towards point. KK though taken down. They have an even fight. Gravitic Flux might be used here, but it's Kitsune Rush on Kitsune Rush action here. The Tire doesn't seem to find anything here. Draxucker looking for targets. He finds the Kiriko. He might want to just pop the ultimate here to buy his team the damage to win this team fight. They are now capping. They only needed the one tick. They don't get it just yet. He's choosing to hold his ult. He might want to use it in the next series, and he might have to. A Stalker comes back in now on his trusty Doom for so much damage, so much chaos. They're capping point, but they're not capping it fast enough. As Team Tree rejoin the fray here, all 5 up. They clean up the fight, and they take the series 3-0.
That was... the Team Tree played that really well. The recontest was really good, but you feel like Spice Girls really should have had that. You know, the Team Tree got overconfident. They pushed into the spawn, and then we saw really good headshot picks from Assassin and from KK, and then you thought, this is it now. They're gonna cap. And then again, it's the target focus and just holding on to ults. You know, Death Blossom probably would have won that fight, but holding on to ults unnecessarily. Like, it's, yes, using too many ults in a fight is bad, but losing the fight is even worse in that situation.
Yeah, that watching Draxucker just ping away with the Hellfire shotguns without using ulti, that was pretty painful to watch. But it is going to be Team Tree. I think on balance the better team. Again, one of these series that 3-0 feels a little bit too one-sided for how the game actually felt.
Yeah.
But one of the ones where I also think Team Tree seemed to have the better of the series.
They were consistently winning more fights than the Spice Girls. It seemed to be the Spice Girls never really had a response to the aggression of Team Tree, despite really good individual plays that we saw from the Spice Girls. We saw Saltcatcher doing individual heroics. We saw Assassin doing heroics. We saw KK doing heroics. We saw heroics from everyone, but just something wasn't right there. They didn't have the answer that was needed.
Yeah, and a bit of sloppiness, like you say, just not cleaning up team fights that we've seen other teams just mop up quick sticks and get that objective that they need to. Credit where it's due, I was very impressed with Saltcatcher. I think every hero they played had heroic moments, as you mentioned. Yeah. So I'm excited to see if they progress and see more of them. And Team Tree, of course, anytime you've got Mito and Stalker on a team, you're pretty comfortable putting money on them as a successful unit. So they will take the 3-0 and look to push forward. But guys, if you enjoyed that and if you've been enjoying all the matches so far today, you're in luck, because there's at least one more, and that will be happening at 8 p.m. I believe, so in 45 minutes. We will be back to take you through the last match of the day, which is the COWZA versus California Girls.
So we've
another
Spice Girls.
Exactly.
And now we're going to see the California Girls. We'll just work on our Katy Perry puns while we're away.
Yeah, one of us will, that's for sure. So that is at 8 o'clock, 45 minutes, guys. So we hope to see you there, and we'll check you now.